welcome to the Save Your Breath show, where we help parents eliminate the stress and aggravation of parenting, whether your child is 5 or 50. Now, someone told me recently that sounds like I'm offering to help you abandon your children. That's not what I do. It's not necessary. I can help you with this. All right, so the central to what I do with helping parents with my family system is integrating some aspects of patience and not necessarily fitness. I have a guest on the show today that incorporates fitness into what she offers. But I want you to know the whole point of the family system is to make it easier for you and to allow you to have finesse about what you're doing when you're addressing your offspring. A lot of people still have children at home. Many people have adult children. The whole point is the parenting itself. It doesn't stop just because suddenly the offspring has turned 18 years old, or they're out of the house, or they're now adults. I happen to know some who are actually having to deal with issues with their adult children. So you don't have to abandon them. Just know that we've got you covered on a couple of fronts here. My guest today is Kenya Moses. She is the founder and CEO of Be a Fit Mama Incorporated. She's a speaker and author and works with women and mothers to help them increase their physical and emotional well-being and create vibrant careers and businesses. Welcome, Kenya.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here.
Well, I was very interested in knowing more about what you do, and I thought what better way to do that than to gather a few questions and have you to come on the show.
Well, thank you so much. I'm really excited to be here and tell you a little bit about what I do.
Okay, great. So I do want to know, tell me what it is that you do for mothers and what compelled you to start helping them in this way in the first place, and how long have you been serving the community?
Well, thank you. Thank you for that question. You know, I've been working with women and mothers since 2009, and I had my first child in 2008. And I recognized that a lot of the women that I was speaking with and going to parenting groups with felt really stressed, really overwhelmed, had no idea what to do, how to maintain their sanity while raising their children.
That sounds familiar.
Finding that sanity and then just really taking care of themselves along with their family. And so I had an idea. I thought, okay, well, you know, I love to move. I love fitness. I love nutrition. Why don't I start this business? Mm-hmm. And that's kind of how it started. It started as a fitness company. It started as a wellness nutrition company. Mm-hmm. And throughout the years, it's sort of grown into this consulting and coaching practice that helps mothers and women in every stage of their life. It helps them with their emotional well-being, with their physical well-being, and helping them create careers and businesses that they love.
Nice, nice. I thought that you carried yourself like a dancer. You know, you look, you know, you're really in shape, and I'm getting there one day. I'm going back. But I noticed that were you a dancer at some point?
I'm still a dancer,
You're
yes.
still there. So that's part of what you do with them.
It's part of what I do. I incorporate that into my practice. You know, I danced in Albert Ailey in New York City. And
yes.
And so I've definitely incorporated that into the physical aspect and just the way you carry yourself, and it just helps you build this confidence that just goes with you wherever you go.
Because we're one entity. All of that adds together.
Exactly.
So now when working with mothers in addressing challenges in their physical and emotional well-being, what do you find to be the biggest challenges, and what tips could you give them to overcome them?
Oh, challenges. It's one of those words that you hear the word challenge and you just think, oh my goodness, there's something wrong with having an obstacle of some sort. And that's not the case. You know, parenting, mothering, being a woman, we all encounter certain challenges. And when we're trying to reach a goal, whether it's with our emotional well-being or physical or within our business, what I typically encounter is, number one, is figuring out what it is that you want to do. It's like, okay, figuring out what's my intention and setting that goal. That's typically the first challenge that arises, because there's so many things that we might want to do, and there's so many options, right? Which one is best for me?
Yeah.
So that's the first challenge, is figuring out what is that I want to do. The next thing is motivation. How do I motivate myself?
Yes.
How do
Children tend to take that motivation to a large degree. They just kind of just zapped energy-wise. So the idea of even addressing that for a lot of people is just, oh no, that's just not even part. You know, there's too much right here.
Right, exactly. It's in your face. It's children are wonderful. I have 2 little boys, and they just run me
How old are
They're 7 and 8, almost 9.
7 and 8, okay.
Good years, and they're
Yes.
amazing.
Cherish those.
But but after a long day of running around and running errands and working and just being, you can kind of lose that motivation. The motivation to take care of your body, to take care of your emotional well-being, to put that time and effort into your business. So I find that motivation, that's the second piece to that puzzle.
So the first one was?
So the first one is actually figuring out what
you want to do.
What you want to do.
And then getting the motivation.
The motivation to do it. And then number 3 is support.
Support.
So, I'm also a single mother, so the support, having a support system, having a community is really important in order for you to achieve your goals. I'm a very strong-willed, I can be a bit stubborn and be like, oh no, I can do everything myself. I think I was telling you earlier that I'm a do-it-yourselfer.
Yes.
And
well, being a single mother, I would think that, that comes with the territory. You just start gathering things and doing it. You're just kind of reeling with things that you have to do alone.
Right, exactly. But the important part there is having balance. And finding balance is crucial to being able to feel that support system in place. So if you are wanting to start a fitness program and you have no idea how to start and you need to be motivated, but you also need a support system because maybe you need someone to be with the children. So perhaps it's your husband, or if you're a single mother, then it's finding someone who can be with them and just kind of moving through that process. And so I think those 3 aspects, those 3 challenges are the top challenges that I encounter pretty much across the board, whether about it's physical, emotional, and with their business. So
there's having a workout that you can do with the kids, and you're kind of working out with the kids if you're with them at all anyway, but being on purpose about what you're doing with that. And then there's the time to yourself.
Exactly.
I would imagine that's very important in the support arena.
Yes, exactly. Having that self-care component is crucial. I always use the analogy of being on the airplane, right? And if your oxygen masks come down, you must put it on yourself first before you can put it on your loved ones, because if you are not taking care of your own self, then you're absolutely no use to anyone else. So it's important that you are feeling supported and loved and cared for, and you're able to embody that
and do it for yourself.
And
I just got to hit on the fact that if you're doing it for yourself, making a point of doing it just with yourself, you're giving attention to yourself. And that is showing love for yourself. And that is nurturing, you're nurturing everybody else. And a lot of us drop ourselves out because we don't see ourselves as important enough to receive all of our own attention.
Right.
So thank you for reminding me of that.
Of course.
Okay. There are mothers out there who may have an idea about changing careers or starting a business. And what advice would you give to someone who isn't exactly sure how to begin?
Very good question. So when I work with my clients will come to me and say, oh, well, I'm in the corporate world, or I currently have a business, but I want to change careers, but I'm not exactly sure how to go about that. What do I do? Help me. And the first thing I have them do is an exercise that I call your future self.
Oh, that sounds okay.
So the future self exercise is basically, so you find yourself a quiet space and you close your eyes and you envision yourself towards the end of your life. Everything is wonderful, right? Your children are grown. They're wonderful human beings. You're doing great things in the world. And you've accomplished X, Y, and Z.
Yes.
And so you're so happy. So what is X, Y, and Z? So think about that. That's the first place to start.
Your future self.
Your future self. So if you're 109, you're 109 and you're looking back on your life and thinking, oh, I fulfilled everything I've wanted to do. I'm ready. My children are great. And you'll know whether by your feeling or it'll come to you 1 to 3 things. You'll be like, I did this and I did that and I did that. And then you start from there. And from there, I basically have clients go through a process of answering a few questions and finding out what your passions are. Because oftentimes, the things that we were really gung-ho about when we were little kind of lead into what we want to do now.
Yes.
And whether it's a lifelong journey, like starting, going into your business, or if it's an extracurricular activity, we'll be able to find out what is it that we need to bring back into our lives to help bring that motivation, to help bring that inspiration, and will help us create and be able to build a new business.
So that is, that's, I guess, essentially the beginning with the end in mind.
Exactly.
I hadn't quite fully placed myself there.
Yes.
Thank you for that.
You're
Okay,
welcome.
so yeah, begin with the end in mind and then work your way back to see how
did
the
that
pacing
happen?
on that. How are you doing there?
Exactly.
Do you need to pick up the pace or relax a little bit or go sideways or left, or is it what you want to do at all? You know what you're doing now?
Right.
Yeah, that's all part of it.
It's really important to just, I say having a vision, having a greater picture of it. You don't need to hold on to that so steadily, but having that and feeling that and knowing what it feels like as you go through the process of creating, changing careers or starting a new business, you'll be able to recognize when you're on the right path.
So now, do you have them do a meditation exercise to do this, or?
I do. So when we're working together, if I'm working with a client, I'll lead them through the exercise. If they're on their own, then I'll just kind of explain it to you as I've explained it to you. And then I offer them, I give them 25 questions to help them sort of, figure out what those passions are. What is it that you really enjoy?
Nice.
And how you want to serve. So.
Yes, because a lot of us are kind of, like boats on the water without an oar or an anchor. We're just sort of drifting along and letting life happen to us. And I guess, I don't know, do you see that people find that is what they wanted to do at the end of their lives? That they, I wonder how many people are happy that carry their lives along that way. We should do a survey.
That's a great
That would
idea.
be an interesting thing.
That's a great idea.
Maybe the floating along on the sea of life is more relaxing. You live longer. I don't know.
I think it's a great, coming back to balance, I think that's a great balancing mechanism, right? Like, I'm always about going with the flow, following your intuition, and just, you can feel it in your body when you're doing something that is right. So if we do the future self exercise and you've got your 3 things that you really want to accomplish,
yes,
and you come back to yourself now, and as you move through your path, you want to move through it naturally. You're not forcing anything to happen, but you'll get these cues, you'll get these inner cues that, oh no, that feels good.
Yeah.
It feels good. I'm going to keep going there. And then you might be like, maybe I need to change.
I didn't want to do this in the first place.
Exactly. So you follow and you start listening to yourself more, and it becomes easier and easier. And eventually you'll wake up, you'll have an epiphany and say, oh, I want to write a book.
Yes.
And that's how it happens.
And a lot of times we're unhappy with ourselves because we weren't listening or even asking ourselves the right questions.
Right.
Okay. Now, I hear that your newest book, how many books have you written?
Well, I've written 2 books so far.
It's set to come out in late 2017, and it's geared towards single mothers.
Yes.
Now, why did you choose to work with single mothers?
Well, like I was telling you earlier, I'm a single mother, and I was also raised by a single mother for the most part. And it had occurred to me, looking at my life and my life experiences, that I had so much experience and so many stories to share. And so I come across a lot of single mothers who are wanting to change careers, who are feeling overwhelmed, and coming to me and asking, what do I do? How do I navigate where I am in my life? And it just hit me. And I had this talking about following your intuition and following that inspiration. And the books just started coming out. And I just decided, I'm going to create this. It's a guide, a series of guides, actually, that kind of covers everything from self-care, fitness and nutrition. We talk about time management. We talk about basically creating a master schedule for your life and parenting styles and just the whole gamut. And it's a lot of fun.
Wow, that sounds like a big project.
It is a big project.
Nice, very nice. Because I was raised by, that's interesting. I think of my mother as a single mother. Even though she did get married when I was in my teens, but in my mind, she's always a single mother. Isn't that strange, huh?
It's not, it's actually not strange. And also, although the book itself is geared towards single moms, it's for mothers in general, because I think we all need support, right? We all need support. And whether you have a spouse who lives with you or travels a lot, oftentimes.
Travels a lot, yeah.
Right. There's a lot of mothers who are married, but they have that feeling, that sense of being a single mother because they take the bulk of the engagement with the children and taking care of them. So this book is it's a guide basically for mothers who have that kind of experience, who need that extra support.
Okay. And because they're single mothers, we can use all the support we can get.
Yes, exactly.
Right. Now, you shared with us some wonderful tips on helping mothers increase their physical and emotional well-being. Now, did you really, did we talk about the physical things that you do with them?
We talked a little bit about it, but I can definitely tell you more about it.
Just a little bit more, because it seemed to go by me real fast.
So your physical well-being is a crucial component to overall well-being, right? I think for the most part, that's the first thing that people think about when they think of well-being. Oh, the physical aspect, I'm going to go run, I'm going to go do some cardio exercises.
Yes.
But in combination with the physical component of the actual, get down and dirty exercises, it's also about connecting that with the emotional well-being. So those two actually go hand in hand.
Yes.
And so the work that I do with my clients, it encompasses everything. So when you have a personal fitness session with me, we also start with a meditation. We also start with setting an intention and being clear about what we're trying to achieve, because there's a direct connection with our emotions and how our body reacts to those emotions. And so talking about stress eating, and a lot of clients will come to me and say, I want to lose some weight, and we get down to the real source of why you're having difficulties losing weight or you're not getting fit the way that you want. And what happens is we realize that, I'm feeling really stressed and overwhelmed.
And it's emotional eating.
Exactly. And it happens all the time with everyone and in different ways. And sometimes it's sweets. Sometimes, I love
pasta,
bread and pasta.
Did you hear that, people? I admit it. Okay. Just had a moment there.
That's okay. Have your moment.
Okay.
And so basically finding out those triggers, like why, there's a reason why we're not feeling or looking the way that we want, or my workouts, I work out 5 days a week, but nothing is changing. Why is that?
Yes.
So we get to the root of the issue, because there's always some underlying issue there, and it may not always be, obvious to us.
So you actually do the physical aspect with them.
I do the physical aspect with them.
Okay. Wonderful. Right. That mind-body connection, I'm having a new respect for it as of the last couple of years or so. Because I've always been very ethereal, up here in the clouds. The body is fine. It does, it's okay. But not really. It's not really okay if you are just hanging out up here all the time and I was not fully understanding how integrated all of it is, our physical and our spiritual and emotional.
Exactly.
I'm just we're very complex.
We're
I tend to
understatement.
I tend to want to oversimplify what's going on, and it's not like that at all. I'm sure our audience is curious to know how they can work with you. Where can they go to contact you?
Well, you can reach me at beafitmama.com.
Yes.
And there you can download.
I think you have an offer of a free 7-day email mini program.
Yes.
Called the 7 Steps to Increase Your Motivation.
Yes.
And I will put the link on the show when I publish it. It is beafitmama.com, and that's spelled out, / online courses classes. Well, I am so pleased that we finally took the time. Thank you, Kenya.
Thank you so much, Rowena.
And I want to thank you all for watching and listening. And we'll see you again here next time on the Save Your Breath Show.